All right, I appreciate y'all checking into the recap channel. Today I want to go over something else that's been a discussion for years and years and years. And by the title, you probably already know where I'm going with it. The question is, why isn't Lafayette, Louisiana on the hip hop map? And over the years, people had many, many theories. Some would say that the Lafayette rappers aren't good. Some would say it's a lack of unity, poor work ethics, trying too hard to sound like other cities. Some would say it's hate and jealousy. Some would say scrutiny, unknown history, and some would even say that it's too small. It's too small of a city. Well, today I want to try to break all that down the best that I can and hope we can find some common ground. Let's get into it. Okay, let's start with the first one I mentioned. Some would say that Lafayette rappers just aren't very talented. Now, this statement is very subjective, so it's easy to just go ahead and throw it out, but let me make this point. No matter how much you like or dislike something, it's still just an opinion, okay? Someone thinks the things that you admire are whack, as you may think some of the things that others admire are just whack, garbage, trash, not good. But in this case, I truly believe that most people's minds are made up to dislike local artists before they get the chance to hear them. And some only dislike local artists as a way of discrediting them. No one knows every rapper from the Lafayette area. We mostly only know of the ones we decide to pay attention to. So this whole argument can be thrown completely out. Moving on. Lack of unity. This is a statement I sometimes agree with. Unity in the area would be nice, but the words often get misused. I understand sometimes artists have egos and they think they're bigger than what they actually are. But sometimes you have to wonder, do artists who claim they want that unity really want it? Or do they only want the unity with artists that can help them get the exposure? The question comes from the fact that I have never seen two or more artists with less popularity working together to make a name for themselves. Basically, if anyone says that they want unity, you can actually have that. You just need a team that has a similar vision to you and wants to work with you. Over the years, we've seen many collaborations, but often we only see one artist pushing the song or the project. At one point, we saw many groups like Diamond Grill Click, Camp J, Get Live Click, Anchor Down, Cutter Boys, Band of Brothers, and All for One, who are all making names for themselves in the area, opposed to now, as some may still consider themselves to be a group, but only release solo material. Perhaps the best display of unity recently was Big Menace in Louisiana, two acts from different affiliations that united to release two projects and host multiple house parties, inviting other local artists to come and perform. Work ethics. The work ethics of most local artists can be considered almost non-existent at times. Yes, they'll record the music, but once it's recorded, what's next? What's the marketing strategy? What's the plan behind the music? Do you have a vision? Are you doing any bookings? Are you consistent? I can go on, and it's understandable that what works for one may not work for another. But I'd at least say have a strategy bringing yourself out. It would seem that many local artists want major credit for minor work, but local artists also excel in different areas of the hustle. Some excel as a promoter, some excel in merchandise sales, some excel in video production, some in business, and many more other areas. So knowing that the hustle and grind is definitely there, why is the music not getting out? Rappers imitating out-of-town rappers. Every rapper is influenced by another rapper. That's just the way it is. And when a rapper releases a song, you can hear the influences in their rhymes, in their music, whether they meant for it to sound like that or not. Some rappers are just trying to adapt with the times, and sometimes it just rubs off that way. And then some rappers have absolutely no direction. They're just sound biting everything they hear. With neighbor city Baton Rouge, Louisiana making a splash with multiple artists like Boosie, Webby, Kevin Gates, Mr. Kane, NBA Youngboy, Fredo Bang, and many more making major moves, many of the Lafayette rappers would imitate that sound that's breaking the Baton Rouge artists in hopes of gaining the same exposure. But the Lafayette area is mostly known for Zydeco music and heavy Creole culture. So with the rap genre, it's only natural that artists spit it the way they feel is necessary to make it. Side note, Lafayette has a very diverse style of hip-hop. Artists like Jazz Flow, Slim Chance, Sidewalk the Villain, and Young Days are among some of the best lyricists in the area. Artists like GBA, Party Boy, Lil Russ, and Yoke have a more entertainment flair that can hype up a crowd. Artists like Young Troll, Dope Boy Nike, and Organized Crime Gang has the trapping and hustler style, while G Nate, Big Minutes, Keezy Kilo, and Ice Cold are very graphic with their storytelling. There's a lot more artists and a lot more styles than Lafayette, but if I go through them all, this video would never end. Hate. Well, it's understandable that everyone wants to make it, everyone wants to be successful, make the money, be great, but sometimes it doesn't work in that artist's favor. And seeing or hearing that some other artist is getting that love and exposure can really spark jealousy. In recent years, rappers would ignore each other's music and grind. This would make local rappers seem less like a hater, knowing that you can't be considered a hater to someone you never even heard of. But we all know the easiest way to forget about something is to show it absolutely no attention. With rappers completely avoiding each other's movement, the separation and selfishness seem a lot more noticeable. Sometimes local rappers also feel attacked when they haven't been counted into something great or mentioned with the best of something, failing to realize that there's hundreds, maybe thousands of rappers in the area, and without knowing of these other artists or their history, they'll write them off as irrelevant by saying things like, "I never heard of that rapper. That rapper's whack. I go harder than him. I've been grinding longer than him." Which leads to the question, how do you know this if you don't know anything about the artist? Regardless of the misplaced anger, many artists in the area have been able to gain a regional buzz through local hits over the years. These are some of the local hits from the 2000s. And these are some of the hits from the 2010s. Even though by the 2010s, rappers had more access to studios, videos, manufacturing, and many more, it also means that there's more rappers entering the game, causing frustrations due to a cluttered market. Another question is, why doesn't the area stand behind the rappers who have a local buzz? On many occasions, a rapper that's gaining exposure is asked by other rappers for a collaboration, and if that known rapper doesn't give them the answer they're looking for, they'll instantly stop supporting the artist. A few years ago, when Lil Wayne made ignorant comments about the Black Lives Matter movement, many African Americans in the Lafayette area were angry with Lil Wayne. But in 2018, when the long-awaited Carter 5 was released, many of the same people in the area downloaded and streamed the album. The same can be said for the surviving R. Kelly documentary. Many people in the area are disgusted by the singer's actions, but will still continue to listen to the music, separating their personal feelings about the man from the entertainment you find in their music. But why can't the same gratitude be shown to local rappers of Lafayette? Or was it hate to begin with? Scrutiny. Local artists, just like any other artist, do want their work ethics, their contributions, and their skill set to be credited and recognized. But tension will soon rise after a chain of events that stirred controversy. In an attempt to restore the unity in Lafayette in 2015, Chris Bernard would release a song and video entitled Unity Back in Our City, featuring Fila, Slim Chance, Young Fig, Young Troll, G Los, Alley Cat, and Teddy B, with background vocals from Lady Kim. Even though the message was to bring the city together via hip-hop, some of the local artists were upset and had negative comments, feeling like they should have been on the Unity song. A few years later, a local summer jam was put together by promoters Sko Money and Push Smoke. And again, many artists refused to attend or support it unless they get to grace the stage. In 2017, Lafayette would host its first award show to honor the urban musicians and entrepreneurs. Days following the ceremony, many local artists were angry and took shots at the Southern Tea founder, Destiny Livens, feeling like the ceremony is rigged in favor of her favorite artists. Around the same time, artists felt the same anger about the judges for another event entitled Rock the Mic. And in 2018, a video entitled 25 Dope Lafayette Rappers was surfaced on YouTube, even though the video only displayed 25 rappers and did not specify best 25. The anger of the local artists allowed them to miss this detail and went right on to criticism and discrediting other local artists from the area via social media. Then in 2019, there would be more rage in the area when a list of 50 greatest Lafayette rappers would appear out of nowhere, and everyone was right back to the criticism and discrediting Lafayette locals. So right now, it's safe to say that Lafayette artists are still hoping for a platform or opportunity in the area that they feel is fair game. A local version of Vlad TV, or maybe the Breakfast Club, Hip Hop DX, Spring Bling, or performance venues with real concerts. History. In many ways, it seemed like the Lafayette rappers ignored the Lafayette hip-hop history, as in who came before them, like Deep South Syndicate, I.B.G, T-Pop Deontay Juggler, The Entourage, Big Business Cliques, and Southbound Players. In addition, it sometimes seemed like Lafayette rappers ignored their own history as a musician, as in they rarely ever speak on what were some of their earliest projects or songs, where they got started, who they started with, who helped them along the way or gave them advice along the way. The answer is still unknown if it's embarrassment, pride, bad blood, jealousy, or strictly just selfishness. Well, I have scenarios. If a label CEO or team leader is just arrogant, self-centered, and not showing any genuine interest in helping to further your career, then yes, you have every right to want to leave. If the team leader has little to no business knowledge or poor work ethics, as in talk but rarely execute, then it's understandable to feel that staying is pointless. But also remember that if the team leader is also a recording artist himself, then you cannot expect him to put all his time and effort into your career when they still have duties as a musician themselves. That would be selfish on the artist part and not on the team leader. But regardless of these scenarios, it doesn't change the fact that these things are still a part of your history. Little to no documents are recorded of Lafayette's hip-hop history, which makes it hard to do any real research. But each artist have their own history, and some people are actually interested in knowing about it. Not to mention, you should definitely give credit to the ones who came before you and others who helped you along the way. Respect does go a long way. Small town. Many would argue that Lafayette is too small of a city and everyone knows everyone. This argument can go either way. It's true. There is a lot of people in Lafayette that know each other, not really taking the rapper serious, or simply just don't believe in the rapper's vision. These things can discourage an artist because it's coming from people that these artists look to for support. But in a digital era, artists have a lot more reach to find their audience and possibly begin making their marks somewhere else. There might be someone in Tacoma, Washington listening to U.G. Havoc. Maybe someone in Lansing, Michigan is listening to D-Jack. Or someone in Lexington, Kentucky listening to Six the Chick. The population of your city should never dictate your grind, and people who don't believe in your vision should never be around you or in your circle to begin with. The one thing all these categories may have somewhat in common is selfishness. We can find an act of selfishness in every category of this article, but at the same time, each category I can also point out why artists have every right to be upset. Some of the local rappers have been putting in the groundwork for years and years and still haven't gotten the credit they deserve. But I'd want to hear from you. What do you think is holding Lafayette back from being a hip-hop city, an official hip-hop city? And lastly, before I go, I do know that the people of the Lafayette area tend to take things the wrong way. So I want to go on record by saying this. This video is not to criticize or discredit anyone, but simply to inspire towards making Lafayette, Louisiana, a known area to the hip-hop audience.